All right, we're not cool. We don't have any cool intro music like other people, so we got to do it like this. Just give people a second to chime in here. We do have some guests this week. If you didn't see the highlight or the title of the stream, it is the Mittens Cast. I have started a podcast for every time a Mittens issue releases. I will force Greg and Josh to come on and talk to me. And I am trying to get more regular with the streaming stuff. We're on Twitch. Hey, if anybody's on Twitch, I think my brother just chimed in. How's it going on the Twitch? We're on YouTube and we're on Facebook. So if you're watching this afterwards on YouTube or the Twitch VODs, thanks for tuning in there as well. Again, trying to get a little bit more regular with the streams, just a little bit of in-house stuff before we bring our guests out to talk about the awesome Mittens 3. We once again, we have relaunched, and I did want to kind of give a rundown. I know a couple of our amazing backers have backed twice, and I've had to reach out to them and say, if you back the Zoop, you're good to go. And you may be asking yourself, John, then why are you doing a Kickstarter? Well, first and foremost, we had several amazing backers reach out to us and say, hey, um, I enjoy using Kickstarter. That's kind of the place that I like to go to back my crowdfunding. You know, are you going to come back to Kickstarter? And yes, of course. I There's two reasons I've been able to make comics at all in the last 15 years, and that's my amazing collaborators and crowdfunding platforms, in particular Kickstarter. So we have no desire to leave Kickstarter. Zoop was, you know, an exciting experiment for us. They were great to us, but we understand. You know, people have loyalty. People get comfortable with the programs they use. They don't want their I don't know. They're not like me. They don't just throw their credit card all over the internet for everyone to steal. So we get all that. So we're on Kickstarter. We didn't quite reach the funding we wanted to due to some cancellations and some other things behind the scenes. We didn't quite get to where we wanted to, but Dan and I, you know, we talked about it and we decided, you know, we wanted to place a big order for the books and for the Argyle plush here. So we went ahead and did that. So we just got to do this quick Kickstarter, get people the products that they want the way they want it, and also clean up some finances on the back end. So we appreciate everybody. I know it's deja vu because it was only, you know, a few months ago, but you know, share it out there. Again, if you backed, the only difference is you do have the opportunity for the first time ever in a Drumsticks of Doom campaign to get the oops, I should have been scrolling down here to get the original cover art from Dan Doherty, the line art, 11 by 17, fully inked line art is available. Let's see if we click on it, if we'll make it bigger. Yeah, there we go. See if we can make it bigger. Yeah, it's a little bit small, but you see it. You can get the original art. We also have some Argyle pages here. You see the pages here. So we don't always do this, obviously, and this is the first time. I am selfish and I like to hog the cover art to myself. So this time, you know, Dan and I talked about it, and again, we want to. We're all about producing the comic and getting into as many hands. That also, by ordering more, you keep the price point down. And sometimes that means you got to kind of let some of your babies go. So the awesome cover art is up for grabs. I like how he kind of roughed out the logo here in the background too. This is, you know, exactly as you'll get it. This is scanned in the original art before the amazing West Swan colors. So we did want to mention that. That's the only thing different in this campaign. Everything else is all the products you've seen before. So again, if you picked it up on the Zoop, we thank you so much for taking a leap of faith with us and coming over to a new platform. If you didn't get to back it on Zoop, then here it is for you now. So yeah, it's the book is here. I should say that part. I should make myself bigger. And the book is here. So it's done. You know you're going to get it. I've already started packing orders for Zoop, and I may have even contacted you. Here's the awesome sketch cover. I've already contacted some people about combining their shipping with some other books that we've had come in. So we appreciate those amazing repeat backers. We printed again through Comics Wellspring, which you've probably seen on most of our crowdfunding campaigns. Our first ever double page spread is in the book. We hadn't done for Drumsticks of Doom yet. So yeah, just some in-house stuff. But we're not here to talk about our boring projects. We're here to talk about other people's exciting projects. So I want to bring in the man of the hour, Mr. Greg. How are you?
Hey, what's up?
You've dodged me long enough. The campaign's been up for 3 weeks. I was hoping to get you on right away to fund live on air, but I'm glad you made some time for us.
Yeah, a little
Oops.
busy.
Let me reshare my screen and get it back.
Apparently, your audio was cutting in and out. I don't know if it is, but it's not for me, so I don't know.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I will. Yeah, let us know in the chat. Thank you so much for letting me know. And hey, Andrew, how's it going? Probably tuning in on the YouTube. Yeah, maybe it was me moving my head. I got kind of a janky headset. I did get a better microphone recently, and I've just been too lazy to set it up. So one of these days.
Yeah.
Then I got to do phone things like you, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I can't wait to have my office back, so I can actually have it set up, and I'm not on a couch.
You're kind of. I was gonna tease you about that. You're kind of like the guy on the couch now. Every time I see you, you're chilling on the couch.
Yeah.
That's how Frank Martin was for a long time.
yeah, I can't wait to have a room again.
Yeah, are you in the process of moving or remodeling or?
For like a year-ish, we were remodeling the upstairs, and it finally was. It's like almost done upstairs. The electrician has to come back to put the lights in and stuff, and then it's done. So.
Oh gosh, yeah, I'm so grateful we had a move-in ready house, and we were very fortunate because I don't know what I would do without my own space. You can probably see behind me here. We got like 7 different campaigns in various stages. So if I didn't have my own space to just do my own stuff, it would be pretty rough.
Yeah.
I know not everyone's that fortunate, but oh yeah, oh, thanks, Andrew. Yeah, you should have gotten your CPS stuff in the mail. Thank you for backing that in the original art. It was another one that was hard to let go, but we appreciate that. Really helped that book get across the line. So yeah, I tried to really pack it because I know that UPS or USPS is not always kind to those things. So. But yeah, I may or may not claim the status of being the only retailer to carry all the mittens in the world. I have them all. I have them all here for everyone to see. So this is just proof of my love. And also, I thought it was a good deal. So thanks for creating another retail tier for me this time. But I think I have a very large gap in the child-friendly book. So I think that'll be a good thing if some kids come up to the table. Hey, check out my buddy Greg and Josh's book. So
yeah, that's actually one of the reasons why I made it, because I was like, oh, we just have superheroes and stuff, so wanted something different.
Yeah, and why don't you tell us about that? How did Mittens come to light? I'm sure I've heard you say, but for people tuning in for the first time, how did Mittens come to be?
So my girlfriend's fiance now.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's different to say. So she said she had a cat named Mittens when she was a kid, and then the cat passed away. When the cat passed away, he's like the warlord or something of the neighborhood, because like everybody showed up at her dad's house, and like all the cats, like every cat you could think of. And I was like, oh, it's like a mafia funeral. So I took that and spun it into a sci-fi adventure comic, and he's a space pilot, master thief, cat broker. So yeah, that's why there is a mafia boss that he's doing a job for, and then it spins out of control.
I like that. Taking something in real life and making it into something different that's attaches you to the material. But tell me how and did you kind of, were you spitballing with Josh on a project to work on, or what? How did he get involved?
She gave me that, like, she just told me that story, and then I came up with an idea, and then I wrote all 3 issues, but I obviously edited them since. So I wrote all of the first 3 issues in the same month, I think, like December of 2019 or 2020. I think it was like 2019. And then I told him about it. I was like, this is definitely like probably for you because like you are the sci-fi kind of guy. And he's like, okay. And then I told him about it, and then he read the script, and he's like, oh, this is cool. I was like, thanks. And here is the third issue. So,
and here we are. I can appreciate that. I'm kind of the same way. I may come up with an idea, sit on it for a while, maybe write a script, maybe a couple scenes, and then it's always a good feeling to kind of find the right fit for it, right? You want to work with
Yeah.
someone. We're putting a lot of hours into this, a lot of conversations, a lot of crowdfunding. You want to be with, you want to work with people who, want to be involved in the project. And
Yeah.
he's definitely, obviously, anybody watching this right now, you can see he was the right man for the job. And for more reasons than that, I think, besides the fact that he's willing to, at every stretch goal, do an obscene amount of extra work
Yep.
to make the project a success, I just think his style fits really well. And then you've got
Yeah, it does.
a lot of cool other people you've got involved. You've got the cool homage covers. You did the I think I got them here, like the, if anybody, well, you're probably not gonna be able to see it. I'm pretty small, but
Oh, the 64. Yeah.
we got the, this was one thing that stuck right out to me. Well, they're kind of stacked, but you got the cool trading cards, the N64 box homages. That was really cool. And again, you're finding fun ways to kind of incorporate it into it, which, obviously people our age would think is cool. And then, maybe even some younger kids walking up would be like, oh, that,
Yeah.
that looks neat. So I think you got the total package in your art teams that you've done.
Yeah.
But who did do the variants so far?
Gwen, I can't say her whole name. Gwen DeGault.
Okay.
Yeah, and Greg Bo Watson, and they wanted to do it on the first issue, but like there was just things getting in the way, like COVID and just other things, and then I made sure that they had enough time to. I'm like, oh, this third one is launching this day. Can you get it done before that? And they're like, yes, this time it'll actually be a thing. So, yeah, it took 3 years, but they finally put it out, and a lot of people like that cover, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've seen one that wasn't really good, wasn't cool. This is the wait, this is I cannot think, Fifth Element, right?
Yep.
This one is, now you gotta help me with that one.
Dune.
I knew that one. Yeah. And then this one's Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And those are really cool and fit with the style.
Yeah.
And again, I know I've talked to you, we've been on shows together, but for the people watching now who may be new to the book, tell me how you come to the decision to make a monochromatic book.
It was cheaper. Well, technically it was cheaper. I think Josh started to like color it like that or flat it or something. Or is it flatter? I don't remember what he said. Something about that. He'll know when he's actually on here. I just write it. So so he, I think, was like, look at this. And I was like, that's cool. And then I think we were talking about like, oh, should we just keep it like bluish because of space? And I was like, oh, that's cool. He's like, it's also kind of cheaper doing it that way. It's like, oh, then we're definitely doing it that way. And then I was like, oh, cats are like kind of colorblind, I guess. So it just makes a little sense. And that actually works with his goggles. They're broken in the story.
I didn't actually catch that.
And in issue 3, they're kind of fixed, but like I don't even know if he actually puts them on or not. And he might be able to see color at some point, but like we're not gonna have that like ruin the series because people like the monochromatic thing.
Yeah, and they say, what is it? Necessity is the mother of invention. I feel like poorness is the mother of invention many times, right?
Yeah.
I definitely had budgetary concerns with Drumsticks of Doom, and we chose to go with black and white. And now I feel like it's definitely was the right call, especially as printing prices have gone through the roof. But it ended up being the right choice. I think it just fits the feel of the book, and this one is the same.
Yeah.
I know like a lot of people have bought Bone or Scott Pilgrim in color, and I feel like once you make a decision like that, it just feels like you create the book differently, right?
Mhm.
And I feel like Scott Pilgrim and Bone were meant to be in black and white, and I feel like this one too. I just think that choice, that particular choice with blue, just gives it just a really cool, different feel, and just makes you kind of double take when you see it. So
Yeah.
I think that's a good choice. But
And
down the road, like people have said to me, "Oh, will there ever be like an omnibus of Drumsticks of Doom in color?" Maybe, if the demand is there, but and I could see that for Mittens too. But it's cool to have this as the original version.
yeah.
And now, where would tell us where you're at in the series? Again, you've had success,
Whoa.
multiple stretch goals
Whoa.
here now.
Okay. That went up a bit. um. Yeah. So. Okay. That just threw me off. Like just seeing that went up like that. So we hit our first like set of stretch goals, which was awesome. So we unlocked the ash can, which is like one of the biggest things that we want to unlock in this campaign. So that's like a huge win because we had that as a stretch goal in the last campaign, and we were like just under trying to get that. Oh, Josh is backstage, I guess.
Let's bring
And
him here.
then
Hey.
the ash
Heyo.
can, the ash can, we really wanted to unlock because that's part of the group. It's like the mini adventures of this group that Mittens was a part of, like when he was younger.
Oh, that's a cool way to do kind of side stories and stuff. That's
Yeah, and we want to do more ash cans because it's like 5-6 pages. And Josh was like, "Wow, you can only write like 5 pages and not make it like an essay." And I was like, "Apparently."
It'll be
So,
each page will be 19 panels, but you'll make it work.
but yeah, so that's the first one, and it features my cat Marshall, and he actually acts more like an actual cat, which is the funniest thing. Like he says things that like he like kind of points it out like in a like fourth wall kind of situation in a way, and it's kind of funny.
And I'll be honest, as a consumer, sometimes I feel like when the stretch goal is an add-on, sometimes I feel like a little burned. Like, dude, I already bought it. I don't get it. But I won't lie. This one right away, I had to be like, add that one on. I love an ash can. I don't know if it's because I came from that era of the 90s where there were a lot. I love mini comics in general. I just again, there's something about when the comic is not its regular size, you see it, just something about it makes me excited. I don't know why. So I love this idea.
Cool.
I love that it's separate from the story, but it's another Mittens story. It's I think that's great.
We unlocked.
But I'm glad Josh is here because we were just about to talk about healthy boundaries in comic creating.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you need some mediation with your stretch goals. If Greg is overworking you, why does every goal have to be you doing 10,000 hours more of work?
It's there is some truth to that. Of whenever we come up with an idea, it usually means I'm going to be doing a whole lot more work. But I mean, to be fair though, honestly, like drawing Mitten stuff is an absolute blast, and like Greg is usually really like open to just like any of my creative input. So like, even though it's a whole lot of work, I have a lot of fun with it. So,
well, good. And I was saying before you came on, I mean, obviously Greg came up with the idea a while ago and had it for a while, but I'm glad he was able to find the right person for the job because every bit that you put into it, it just adds so much to the Mittens verse. All the cool rewards and all the different things that you've done is really he picked the right guy to team up with. So I'm glad you guys are continuing to team up.
heck yeah, appreciate that.
And he was kind of maybe you even want to jump in here. Where are we at with the series? What's the future of Mittens now that we've had 3 successful campaigns? Is he going on the back burner for a while, or is he?
There is well, we are doing the as far as Kickstarters go, we are going to be doing the trade, which will have obviously 1 through 3, and then a few like maybe little like extra teaser stuff for the next portion. But we are I think we're going to keep Mittens alive through the ash cans with these like little adventures for the moment while we tackle one of the side stories. Greg, are you cool with like talking about it?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to be doing a Griff one shot, which is the Panda Bounty Hunter. And so and the main reason why is because Griff plays that guy right there. He plays a good, like a supporting role in this issue. And what we thought would be cool was after this issue, we take a step back and we kind of learn a little bit about Griff's past. And then moving forward, it's going to be, we're going to see a lot more of Griff in Mittens' story. So that way it's like we're catching the audience up with the history and then catching up the audience through the ash cans of Mittens' history. And then that way, the next set of books that we are planning on doing of Mittens will have a little bit more backstory, like established. So that way, like we'll be able to throw in a lot more stuff from their past. And, because I think it started off pretty, the way Star Wars started, where it was like very simple, very space opera. It's a Flash Gordon kind of thing where it was very like Mittens was very simple when it started, but now that we've grown it, it's developed quite an interesting world. So I think this is us like taking a step back and trying to catch ourselves up with that, world building.
Yeah, and that's so fun to hear. I don't think people do that enough. It's comics, right? You're right. You got an initial idea, but you want to execute it right. But once you get into the world, there's so much more of the world. So how do I introduce that without like an info dump at the start of the issue or something like that? This is a fun way. And then, if people want to just engage with it through the main series, they can, but otherwise they can pick up the extra lore, which is what's great about series that we love, like Star Wars and other things, is finding that extra stuff that's out there,
Yeah.
Because you do fit a lot. I mean, these are 28-page issues. Are they oversized?
Yeah, they're a little oversized. This one's going to be 30. So each one of them's kind of a heftier book compared to the typical 22.
Yeah, when I got them, that was something I picked up on right away. Like they're bigger, but it is action oriented. There's a lot going on, crashing ships and running from ducks that are trying to kill you and things like that. But you keep dropping those seeds in there, like you said. There's and then as you said, there's things like mysterious pandas that appear right at the end of the issue, and then you're like, what's going to happen with that? How are they going to wrap this in a third issue? Well, we'll have to wait to find out.
And that's what somebody had asked, like, oh, is this the last Mittens? Like, it's like, no, this is the last of this arc. The squeaky toy arc is what I'm calling it, because the squeaky toy he steals in the first issue is kind of the through line of what's taking him through each issue, and this is the issue that it kind of closes out that part of the story and then moves on to another story. So this is just the end of an era, but not necessarily the end of Mittens.
And not to make you commit to it or anything, but I'm excited to hear that there's going to be a trade. I think it'll be great, as a trade for you guys out there in the world. And is there talk about the size? Is it going to be regular size, digest size? Where's Mittens going to be?
That discussion that probably really hasn't happened. I think I assumed that it was going to be pretty much regular size, just because I've done a 5-issue sci-fi book and did just a regular trade paperback size, and I really liked that size. But I never thought about doing like a digest like paperback style.
Yeah, it's something to think about. I mean, it's a little extra work resizing, making sure the lettering's where it's at. But a lot people have told me, at least, I don't know if it's true or not, but kids like smaller books. I know my kids tend to gravitate towards those kind of books that they can hold in their hands, but something to think about.
Good to know. Yeah, I never considered that. That's good to know.
Yeah, as if we do both.
Oh, there you go.
Oh man, talk about doing all that extra work now.
Stretch goal.
Yeah, you got money. You just send me the pages. I'll resize them for you.
There you go.
Yeah, well, that'll be good for you. You all. I think that'll be a great product for you guys to offer. Like I said, I'm kind of trying to siphon in on your stuff, because I really don't have that genre. I don't have. I have one book, but it's been long out of print, and I haven't focused enough on all ages friendly stuff. And again, like all good all ages friendly, this isn't like your kid's first board book or anything like that. It's just appropriate. There's no gratuitous violence or things like that. You know, we don't want to make it seem like the language is talking down or anything like that. It's just a good, you know, anybody from any age can enjoy it. And again, I don't really have that offering, so you know, I'm glad you guys are filling the void in the indie comics world.
It is pretty easy to gravitate toward the more, you know, adult oriented stuff. I was doing for a while there. I mean, I was doing hard sci-fi, kind of more adult stuff, horror, and once I started doing more all ages books, I realized that, like, oh man, I really found my niche. Like, I have a lot of fun. Like I said, I have a lot of fun drawing Mittens, and some of the other books I work on that are more all ages. Like, I find a lot of enjoyment with it, where like some of the other, like the more like the horror theme stuff is like I enjoy it, but I don't get that same gratification. And Mittens fills that, you know, fills that for me for sure.
Yeah, and I could imagine as an artist, it's good to have those options. You know, when one's not feeling the vibe, you can move on to something else. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about what else you're working on or what you got coming up next, or
Yeah, so
what's making me have to wait so long between Mittens issues?
I mean, quite literally, yeah. I mean, geez, I'm always working on like a whole bunch of stuff. I'm working on a few actually, like I'm doing educational books. For one thing, I'm doing one that's through. I live in Michigan, and we're doing one that the state of Michigan is like paying for, which is pretty cool. And it's just, you know, education and like talking about like bankruptcy and stuff. It's kind of an all ages situation. But other than that, I mean, the Lucky 33 Comics is a group from the New Jersey area that I work with, and they've actually helped with Mittens before. They've done color flatting and editing and lettering on it. They're all about all ages, and we do Astronaut High Schooler is the one story that I write, and they produce it. And that one is like essentially a Powerpuff Girls like Fooly Cooly blend, where it's just, you know, that one's pretty fun because it's a play on like episodic, you know, Monster of the Week episodes where the world is built around that, where everybody wears the same clothes, and there's like a reset timer when the city gets destroyed. The timer runs down and the whole place resets, and then like all of a sudden the world kind of starts shifting and people are wearing different clothes and the timer isn't working properly, and it's like what happens when an episodic world actually breaks down and becomes more like normal. And it's a pretty fun series, but that one's all ages. And we just actually did a Kickstarter last year for issue 2 on that one, so, and that was pretty successful. So
yeah, and I saw it, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You know, was angry at the time that it was preventing you, but I'm glad that you're getting more work so that you continue to focus on it. And actually, before we talk about what Greg does non-Mittens related, I did want to shout out, because I don't think, you know, I'm a letterer myself, or I dabble in it. I try to, mostly out of necessity. So I do feel like we should acknowledge it more often. I think, I don't know if you did it looked like there was a credit to somebody else who assisted you, but do you take the primary lettering, or
Oh yeah. So Corey Riggs from Lucky 33, he is one of the writers and editors over there, and he has been getting into lettering more. And so what he does is he will go through the script and essentially drop in the text boxes, and give me kind of just like that way I don't have to translate the script at all. I can just go in and put the word bubbles in and, you know, basically do the more like graphic design side of it.
okay.
And so he helps me out on kind of like placement and you know, and
He's
basically
like a letterer flatter.
It's funny you say that. We literally call it letter flatting, because that's
That makes
essentially
sense.
what it is.
Well,
So
bless your heart, sir, because that is the worst part of lettering, is copying and pasting off the script. Thank you for helping, Josh. But
yes,
you know, obviously, then the finished lettering is great. You do an awesome job.
thank you.
You know, font selection is important to me. It fits with the vibe of the book. So
glad
that's
you like
important. You know, all these little touches here, like when they're whispering or when they're talking on the, you know, on the intercom to, you know, Captain Quackers, and you know, these little touches, you know, and the sound effects, everything is the total package. So I of course want to acknowledge that as a fellow letterer, you know, you love to see it.
No, I really appreciate it. And that I have to do a shout out to Marshall Dillon, who is he's one of my mentors actually. When I was in high school, he lives around where I'm at, and he's done letters for like Marvel and Dark Horse and stuff. And so he was the guy that really got me into doing comics. And so my first foray into learning how to do comics was from a letterer's perspective. And so like everything that I learned was always accounting for lettering. So I have to do a big shout out to him, because without his guidance, I don't think I'd have the know-how with lettering that I do today. So
yeah, I don't know if you follow Nate Picos from, does a lot of work for Dark Horse and stuff. He's so generous with his time and information. And, I know when I started, it was like a buddy of mine, helped me find an old crappy version of Photoshop, and he, helped me through it because he was also doing the art at the time. And I said, well, let me take a crack at the lettering. And it's a skill, let me tell you. So took a long time, and I appreciate, like I said, Nate and a ton of other friends helped me. If anybody is ever interested, I'd be happy to. I've offered before to kind of help people with like a tutorial. There's tons of YouTube tutorials which help. It's take the plunge. I think more creators, whatever side you're on, should take a crack at lettering. It definitely, as a writer, it makes you appreciate simplifying your dialogue and being more economical with how many balloons are. It just helps with the whole process to know. So
I really have to like second you on that. Like when Corey, when he started, I was so thankful that he started lettering, because I noticed his scripts were improving. The quality of the scripts were improving because he was very conscious of like every word he put in his script, in the dialogue. And it was like, it was because of that, because he was on the other side of it, and he had to go through the trenches of realizing like, oh man, like certain words really suck because of the, just the amount of letters in it. So
right. You can't have a 9-panel page with one panel that has 4-5 word balloons in it. And, there's all those little things. As you're typing out the script, you're like, oh, I'm over 11 words in this one. Let me, slow down and rethink that. So it just kind of becomes second nature once you've done it.
Exactly.
I mean, that's one of my tips for people. Whenever they say, I'm thinking about getting into comics, what should I do? Even if your skills in all of these things we've talked about are very rudimentary, do a whole comic yourself. Draw it, scan it, letter it, staple it, whatever. You'll just have even if you don't ever let it see the light of day, you'll just have so much more of appreciation for every step of the process. And I'll tell you, the one of the only times I actually took the plunge into art, because I don't have a ton of skill there. Just scanning the pages, I had much more empathy for my creators, because it was so frustrating to me that I could not get the scan the way I wanted, and there was all these dirty parts I had to clean up, and it just, by the end of it, I was like, okay, and then I colored it, I flatted and colored it, and that was that's such a challenging job.
Oh my gosh,
people think digital coloring is just and it's done, and it is not that way at all.
No, it's a process.
Yeah, and Greg, I think I've talked to you guys about this on other shows, but Greg did kind of go over the coloring process, kind of how you guys decided that this was the right look for the book. We love it.
That it's so funny. Like one of the main reasons why I even recommended that we try something different was because I saw it was like, I don't even remember where I was at, some Comic-Con, and this guy was showing me a book that he had, and it was like this, but it was all red, and it was like a zombie book, and I was like, man, that red. And then he showed me they had reprinted it in black and white, and I just didn't give a crap about that black and white. Like the book went from really interesting to I would pass on it. And like the art wasn't bad, but it was amazing what the red really elevated the whole mood of the book. And so like the blue, I was like, let's give it, because I didn't want to do, black and white. I'm sure Greg might have mentioned about it. Like it was like I in my mind, I was like picturing it how it would be in gray tones, and I'm like, ugh, that would just look like muddy. But with blue, it's like, whoa, it's different,
It is. And I think, if people are walking down an artist alley, aisle or see it on a shelf, I think you'd kind of pause and be like, oh, what's this one about? So I think it gives it.
They do.
Well,
they do. Yeah. From our experiences at various Comic-Cons separately, You know, I can't believe how many people will just come running up and be like, "What's Blue Space Cat? What is this?"
Well, and yeah, I think it is the pairing with your line too, because you can tell, that it's cartoony, art, but just those two together, it's like, oh, what's going on with this?
It's an interesting perfect storm, and one that I didn't anticipate by any means.
Yeah, and we had mentioned other books that have gone on to be like fully colored, like Bone and Scott Pilgrim. Obviously Jeff Smith and Brian Lee O'Malley, legendary cartoonists, and
Oh, yeah.
so their art looks good and anything. But I don't really have any interest to pick up, the color. I see it now, and I feel that way. If you guys do choose to do a full color version in the future, of course, I'd wish you the best. But I do like that this will forever be the Mitten style to me now.
Well, and that is a really good point of like when we did the extra pages at the beginning of issue 1, we with Griff like interrogating the frog guy, and like that was done in regular color, and it felt weird. Like I actually had to like take a step back and really try to wrap my brain around it. Like it was not it was weird. And so like doing the Griff story, I don't know if it'll be in color or if it'll be in blue. I honestly don't have an answer.
Or green, huh?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Oh, actually. Oh no.
That could be fun. Or like Greg said, you got the built-in kind of out. Some can be in color, some cannot, because it'll depend on Mittens goggles status. So that's a fun way to do it too. Now you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, we really do. We've kind of built it in a way where we, like you said, we have an out, which is nice.
Well, I am happy that you guys are having success in reaching the end of this arc for Mittens, and that there's more to come. Obviously I'm sad that the regular series will be on hold, but I'm glad there's going to be some other issues here and there. But what Greg, do you have non-Mittens related? What are you working on? Tell the audience what you got going
on. There is the Seer Chronicles 3, which is going to be on Kickstarter in October. It's been like 2 years since I've done the last one. It took a while for the second one to be made because the artist was doing other jobs while I paid him fully. But yeah, so there's that. And then my artist for the third one got a job and like 9 to 5, and then a bunch of other things happened in his life. So he's like, "Oh, so this is my last comic for a while," and I was like, "Oh, all right." Because he was my friend Hector was going to be like the artist for the rest of the series, and then that changed. So I might have fixed that issue by we're gonna probably use the inker that's on the third one to be the artist, because the style is like really close. So
yeah,
we'll
I think you and I met around the time Seer Chronicles 2 was out. That's one of your series. I've read Ink and some other stuff from you, but tell us what is Seer Chronicles? What is it?
It's our flagship title. It's actually how all of my comics are a thing. So back in 2014, I started writing a story about a firefighter going into a sketchy research building.
Okay.
And the firefighter was based off my uncle. Well, one of them was. Then I was like, oh, he's not going to be the main character. He's going to be a side character. I'll just create a different character. And I did that. And then I didn't go to sleep for like days because I just kept writing it. And then it spread into multiple different solo series and stuff after writing the story of like 1,200 something pages. And
wow.
Yeah, so the original, all of my comics are in that. And then I split it up into like actual comic book scripts. And yeah, so it's like a mix of conspiracy, like a big conspiracy, and then like, corporations being bad and all this other stuff. It's kind of like, real life. There's our solo series like bleed into it. So Ink 3 ended in June. And that is kind of going into the Seer Chronicles. So
Hmm.
yeah, so well, it's in a way they're going to be in the same city at some point. So that's kind of cool. So
That is cool. I
Yeah.
didn't actually realize that the universe was interconnected.
oh yeah, it's all connected.
You're
Even
usually
Mittens.
a pretty laid back guy. I didn't know you had such manic energy in you to write 1,200 pages in a
Oh
couple of
yeah, no, I
You're
did.
still milking that one burst of energy. Huh?
Yeah.
Well,
So,
yeah.
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, technically, the Mittens does actually take place in that same world. It's just on a different planet.
Nice.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's what I've been told.
Yeah, subtly, I've dropped hints that some of mine do too, but yeah, I kind of leave it open in case something doesn't work. I haven't
Yeah.
officially said there's a West off verse or anything. Well, that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, so you got plenty going on.
Yep.
Non-Mittens related.
Specifically, non-Mittens related.
We'll keep mentioning that. So hurry up with those other projects. And people, if you're listening, follow Greg and Josh on social media. Back their books. Let them fund all their other projects. That will encourage them to get back to Mittens faster, so we'll all win in the end. So please do that. Is there anything looming in the campaign as you come to an end? You got what, 8 days left?
6 days.
Yeah.
Oh, 6 already. It was
we-
just 8.
Yeah.
You guys do these long campaigns. Goes on forever.
Yeah, we do.
We at $4,500. It's a
that's
coloring
good.
book.
Oh, Jesus.
Which, yeah, and we're close to that. So let's just
We
more
are.
work for.
I know,
yeah.
that's what I was going to say. He's like, please don't get to another one.
No, the good news there is I just gotta turn. I'm probably just gonna be doing the inked. Like, it'll just be the inks for Mittens 3 and just
Oh,
ink
that's
coloring
good,
book
yeah.
for them.
Just
So
take
that way,
Yep, there you go. Let them color it themselves.
exactly.
And then at 5,000, I think, is a teaser of the next thing that's coming out, which is Griff's one-shot story.
Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. I
oh,
know
that's
they
a
were on there
6,000,
somewhere.
so not 5,000. So.
Oh yeah, so probably not gonna hit that, but maybe.
Yeah.
That'd be lovely.
Yeah, you could see a burst here at the end. If anybody watching is interested, some of the things they're mentioning, they are add-ons, right? Because now they have the funding to support creating more. So you do want to check those add-ons before you check out. There's several cool things that have already been unlocked, including you do also get some free add-ons, some bonuses down here just for the backer count number, which we are now approaching 100. So
Yeah.
get
Someone
over
else
the
book.
line. Get a free cat-related book from Katrina.
Stay on brand.
Yeah. I kind of like persuaded him to make a stretch goal for an animated pilot episode. So that's at 8,000.
Oh, gee.
And he's like, "Oh, well, now I kind of want to do that." I was like, because my dad said that my cousin saw Mittens, and he's like, "Oh, I know people in like Hollywood, and like they could totally see this as that." I was like, "Oh, I'll just do it myself." So then, but not me. I'll just have Josh do it. So
I'll do it myself by hiring someone else to do it.
Well, I've actually there's lots of people out there who might be willing to team up with you, even if it's just a short. We had somebody do a short Drumsticks of Doom intro where they just animated the art, like the Max cartoon on MTV, where it's just moving the panels, which was enough to kind of give you an idea. Maybe even something like that could be a good proof of concept for you.
Yeah, the closest thing we have to animation right now is the trailer for this campaign that Josh did. So,
yeah, I did a little actual animation in there, and then I did a lot of like compositing, like you're saying about like moving panels and stuff around.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
No, which I mean, I have done like motion comic stuff like that before, which would be, I think it would look really cool if we did. But it was funny. Greg's initial thing as a joke was a first season of animated, like a season. I think you said season 1 of like Mittens animated, and I was like, season 1. Jeez, Greg, we need a pilot episode first.
How about 1 minute?
Yeah, exactly. We'll just do a teaser. But I mean, but then I know that was, you were just joking, but then it was like, oh, but we actually could though. Like,
yeah, because I did do Blender like a couple years ago, and then I stopped doing it. But I made an animation to make a hot dog that took me 3 hours to make. It's only 15 seconds of like animation.
I mean, that's not too bad.
It's still a long time. As I say, it's.
I think
geez,
they
like-
estimate like 2 minutes of animation costs like $250,000 or something in
I
Hollywood.
can
So
see,
Yeah.
I can see why because like
takes like 30 hours to do.
it's
I
a
meant-
more than
bun.
that.
It's a bun that drops onto a plate, and then there's a hot dog that drops into the bun, and then there's ketchup that like goes onto the hot dog, and the plate is spinning as that's doing that. And I was like,
I remember seeing your Blender updates, your donuts, your other things.
Yeah.
I do remember the Blender.
I
updates.
miss the Blender updates.
Bring back the Blender updates.
Right. Right. You know, that is that can be fun. You know, part of creation, you know, you can kind of do whatever interests you, but it's also frustrating, right? Because you can only have so many skills in so many different things. And then to be a publisher, you know, you have to be a master of so many different things. That's what frustrates me. You know, you got to know technology, and you got to know printing specs, and you know, all these other things that get in the way of us making animated hot dogs. And is there anything left in the campaign that you would say, people, I cannot believe you have not gotten this, and why won't it let me see the rewards?
Well,
I would say the flash drive.
a flash drive because like nobody got that, which is kind of weird because in the first campaign for Mittens, that we had to make another tier because it sold out, and it's literally the same reward. It's just new stuff, like different stuff. It's a different name. The first time that we did it, I didn't tell people. I wanted to see if people would like be like, "Oh, cool, you included that too," and nobody even saw that. So I don't know if they actually like looked at their flash drive.
It's hard to say. Maybe it was just too cool of an idea, and then it.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I always wonder the like digital. I know I have a huge backlog. I backlog tons of stuff in digital, and then you know, if you're not at your computer, your tablet, or whatever, it kind of gets lost.
Yeah.
You know, so I could see a flash drive kind of sitting in a drawer, and then 5 years later, like, oh damn, this Mittens flash drive. You know, who knows?
That's exactly what's probably going to happen.
That is super cool, though. That's a fun way to, you know, get a bunch of value.
Yeah, because it's based from a new character that's in issue 3, and then she will be in other issues. But
she's like a tech-based character, and she at one point uses like a little flash drive. So
she's the girl in the chair, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The Oracle. Kinda.
Yeah. On the first campaign, though, we had a blueprint for the perfect tuna sandwich, which kind of connects to that ash can.
It does. It does, which is pretty
everything
great.
connects. I made 3 coupons that, well, they don't work anymore, but they were discounts on our web store, and nobody used them. So that's why I was like, did anybody look at their flash drive?
You were testing them, huh? They didn't see it.
Like, you didn't look at it. But on this flash drive specifically, I am going to be putting together some behind the scenes of like how I put together the animation for this issue. So there will be some pretty cool stuff on this one, I think.
That is pretty cool. Yeah, I've been thinking about, you know, we've got quite a backlog of books now, doing just you know, get everything, and like you said, then you can throw on all kinds of fun behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah,
that's too expensive to print or doesn't fit. Yeah,
and I did start writing the next arc of Mittens. So, well, the plot line. So I don't know if Josh looked at that yet, but there's a lot of new characters, and there's barnyard animals that are in the next one.
Are you now? Is that like any of that going to be teasing in the flash drive? Will that be in the flash drive?
There could be.
Might not be a bad idea. Just a little teaser on things to keep an eye out for.
Yeah.
But don't, again, if you're interested, and if you're watching this on YouTube, hopefully it's within the 6 days. This ends 28th, 9th. Okay, so almost 7 full days from today. But again, there's cool add-ons, including the mini comic is here as an add-on. You know, so don't just choose your tier and skip past. You've got plenty of cool things. You can add all kinds of stuff from the other campaigns. Now they got, 3 issues at a good price, all kinds of fun stuff you can add on. So don't skip past those add-ons, people.
Oh, and
book.
the puzzle
Puzzle
book. I
book.
don't know if we've talked about it at all.
Oh,
No,
we did mention that it was a extra labor for you, but yeah, tell us about the puzzle book.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
a
It's going to be
lot
a
of work.
hardcover? Jesus.
It
Yeah.
is.
So we're definitely printing through Mix'em because they're cool, and just I kind of trust them with like stuff like that because Comic
got a
Spell
good
Spring
track
takes a little bit.
Yeah, they've got a good track record.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of work for me, but also like I've been. Well, what's that, Greg? Oh, okay. I was just gonna say, like, for my Comic-Con table, I've been wanting to lean a little bit more on the Mittens and the all ages stuff, and so having a puzzle book and having a coloring book, like these are things that would actually go well with my table. So I'm rather excited to see how that would come together.
Yeah, and again, that's a fun way. It works with the theme of the book, and it's value added to future campaigns and stuff like that. I think that's a really cool idea. I just don't know. Yeah, like I've never used Mix'em before, but I could imagine a hardcover is not cheap. So
No, they're definitely a little expensive. So, but we are, yeah, it's 8.5 by 11, so it's a good size, and it's the 24 pages. It's going to be 12 2-page spreads, so it's going to be quite a lot in there, I think. But it's going to look really good. That's what at least I'm hoping.
we figured out like all of those pages, like what's going to be on the 12 pages. So
awesome.
Yeah, and it's all, I mean, we literally went through all 3 issues of Mittens and picked out scenes and locations, and so it's like, it's essentially kind of like a greatest hits of Mittens, like in a puzzle book, which I think is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that does sound really fun because again, that's it's something unique and different and a cool thing to add on. So again, people, don't skip past the add-ons. And yeah, any final thoughts on Mittens? Again, congratulations on all the success. I remember, gosh, has it been 2 years or 3 years since you launched the first one?
This is the 3rd year, so yeah.
So two summers ago then, because this is the 3rd summer in a row, right? Is that how that works?
Math.
23 is second. Yeah, so 2022, yeah. So two years ago is when we launched the first one. It feels like longer than that.
Yeah, now you're into the 3rd year, but yeah.
Yep.
No, it's great. I've been happy to see the success. Your success means more Mittens for me, so I'm happy about that. And
we do appreciate the support.
I look forward to having you on when the next campaign or mini comic launches. I will force you to come on again and update us on the Mittens verse.
And hopefully I won't get caught up at a restaurant and be on time.
Oh, no big deal. No big deal, sir. Life is more important. But hopefully we'll get you a couple backers, a couple more eyes on the project. And then just to wrap up, we do have a project. We have 2 projects live.
Oh, wow.
Because we are masochists and we did not have enough going on in life. Drumsticks of Doom is a relaunch. So if you did back the Zoop, you're already good to go. But we've also got, I should have had it ready. We've got,
that
professional
one.
here. We are doing a convention because I tried to set it up since last year, and then all of a sudden people started responding and it came together, and I said, you know what? We're doing it. So Indie Comics Expo is 4 weeks from today. Sneaking up on us. We have 13 awesome creators that are going to come, and we have a live band that's going to be playing at the end of the show. So we're trying to, the first Indie Comics Expo was 9 years ago. Life got in the way, so we planned on it being, Andrew was there 9 years ago, in the long ago. We planned on it being an annual thing, but life happens. But we're so glad to have it back. This is a fundraiser to help us make it the best show it can. Advertising costs, facility fees, all that stuff that we've got to pay. We want to keep table costs down and keep the price of entry down. So every dollar helps. So if anyone could share out the link, we'd really appreciate it. I know it's challenging. These times are challenging for a lot of people. So we know that not everybody can back, but certainly the shares help, particularly for this as a small independent show. we don't have really any kind of advertising budget. So even if you can't back, just helping us get the word out. There is another convention that uses the initials ICE over in the UK. And we just want to make sure people know we are the US version. We're not affiliated. We just happen to choose the same acronym. So no ill will there. But yeah, this is 4 weeks away. It's on a Thursday this year because, again, it took us a lot of time to book a facility that could handle something like this. So we're going to turn Reggie's Rock Club from a concert hall into a convention hall for one evening. They were very excited to work with us again. It was nice to have them on board and that they were willing to have us back. So that's what we got going on. Any closing words, gentlemen? Where can the people of the internet find you?
Josh?
Yeah, anywhere JR Comic Arts, pretty much. Pretty much anywhere on online is where you'd find me.
And you'll find me at SierraNovaComics.com, our newly built website from like a month or two ago that Dylan made. And all the social media, just Sierra Nova Comics. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
Nice.
X, whatever you want to call
it. Yeah, Twitter.
And for the people watching on my channels, we're trying to make this a weekly thing if we can keep up the energy. So thanks, guys, for coming on for our second show. We may likely have Chad Perkins on next week again to play some Lorcana TCG and talk comics. And we'll see how these weekly things go. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Bye.
Appreciate it.